Starting off, I would like to take the opportunity to thank every one of you for showing your kind patronage towards us by attending the Orchid Global webinars. And before moving on with today's product or destination presentation, we would like to take you through the company profile of Orchid Global in a brief. So, myself, Shayoni, I am from the India team and would just like to take you through the journey of Orchid Global, where it started off in the year 2013, and in the year 2014, the company was formed with Thailand and Dubai unit taking place in the first go. The following year, in the year 2015, Europe DMC was formed, where we had also touched 10,000 passengers and we had expanded our fleet. In 2016, we started off with Singapore DMC formation, and in the same year, we also touched 25,000 passengers with a 10 million USD revenue. And just to update you, we also expanded our fleet over there as well. 2017 was the marking of Indonesia and Japan DMC formation, wherein in the year we had touched around 50,000 passengers and 15 million USD revenue. 2018 was the year of Malaysia and India DMC formation, where we also handled 75,000 passengers and 25 million USD revenue. Last year, we opened up Azerbaijan and Vietnam along with our online FIT packages, which is also in a portal called as Orchid Blue. This year, we are pleased to announce Australia and Bangladesh, which I'm sure many of us would also know, along with Orchid Cruises. But however, there are another two more announcements coming in, and I'll be sharing that with you as well. So, as you all know, Orchid Global is one of the fastest growing DMCs of the world, and we have a very dynamic team. Our working experience is quite a bit, and we focus mainly on giving your guests, our partners, a memorable experience. So we have our own offices in all the locations that I'll be telling you all, and customer or client satisfaction is one of our most important and priority objectives. So these are the 12 destinations that we are handling at the moment. And just to highlight, we have our own setup over here. It is 100% our own setup. It is not in collaboration or in a tie-up with anything. And in fact, our fleets are also completely our own. So we have our own setup in all these 12 destinations in Australia, Azerbaijan, Bangladesh, Europe, Japan, Malaysia, Indonesia, India, Singapore, Thailand, UAE, and Vietnam. So I am pleased to announce that we have also opened up Sri Lanka, and it's the latest addition in our destination. And we've already formed a company, Orchid Global DMC Lanka Private Limited, and we will be soon announcing to take inquiries and bookings. So another great news coming in is that we have also decided to take in South Korea as one of the upcoming destinations in our bouquet. So we will keep you updated on the prospects of it. As already mentioned, this year we have launched Orchid Cruises, where we are handling these 12 cruise liners. Just to mention a few, it's Royal Caribbean International, Genting Cruise Lines, Norwegian Cruise Line, MSC Cruises, Carnival Cruises, our Indian brand Jalesh Cruises. So you can send in the queries and bookings for cruises as well. Well, our array of services ranges from MICE to luxury travel, back-to-back groups, charter operations, award nights, educational excursion, family holidays, group travel, any kind of customized tours as well. So any kind of tours that your guest requires, you can send us. Again, just to recap, these are the office addresses of the locations we are present in. These are the licenses and memberships and some of the tourism organization memberships. We are associated with PATA, IATO, PTAA, Thailand Tourism Boards, and all the tourism boards that we are present in. Some of the pictures of our modern fleet, they are extremely well maintained, and our intention of keeping it maintained and modern is to serve your guests in the best possible way. And we have these present in all of our destinations, so your guest will have a pleasant trip throughout the transfers as well. Some of our global participation and national participation, like ITB, SATE, W2M, OTM. This is our international sales team. We are present in Bangladesh, Europe, Pakistan, Philippines, Thailand, and Sri Lanka as well. Our Bangladesh sales team is headed by Mr. Kallol Mitra, along with Vipul and Robiul. Our India sales team is headed by Mr. Arunava Guhathakurta and Mr. Smarajit Banerjee, along with the entire sales team. I'm sure you all must be having your account managers, and you can get in touch with them for any queries as well. Our Philippines team is headed by Ms. Gurley Cruz, who is the Director of Sales over there. This is our team, and I'm sure you must be knowing the faces because we like to work with you closely. So thank you. And now I would like to call Mr. Sandeep Datta from Korea Tourism Organization. So he will be making us through the Korea tourism presentation. So Sandeep, welcome to the Orchid Global webinar.
Thank you, and good morning and good afternoon to all of you.
Okay, Sandeep. So I will just stop sharing, and you can continue with your presentation then.
people from different parts of the world joining us today. First of all, I would like to thank this opportunity to Orchid Global for helping us expand our portfolio and helping us spread our message about Korea tourism to all of you. And it's the session began with the great news that Orchid Global would be taking in South Korea also as a DMC country for their clientele for all over the world. And what better way to start that with a rather than having a full detailed presentation on South Korea as a destination. So what I will do for the benefit of all will be going through the basics of the country, talking about the location, the weather, and best time to visit, the flights, everything. Some very important questions regarding visa, currency, and other all of that. Then focus on some of the main destinations that we promote and what are the USPs. Then we also have a list of very useful websites, different websites for different purpose. I will explain them so that you can access them at your disposal and seek the information that you're looking for. And then we'll also spend some time discussing on the MICE aspect and what kind of support Korea Tourism provides and how we can help you grow your business and how we can help you incentivize or add value to your groups traveling to South Korea. So without much further ado, let's start with the basics. First of all, where is South Korea? A lot of you would be familiar, but for general understanding of all, I would like to point out that South Korea is a country which is located on the eastern part of the globe, sandwiched between China and Japan on either side. Just like India, it is a peninsula with three sides of water and one side of land. However, the northern part of the Korean peninsula is a country called North Korea, which is a country with blocked access. So there is no surface transport between the two countries available. That means that the only way that you can arrive in South Korea is by a cruise or a ship or by flight. So you can think of South Korea as as an island. It is not a very big country. I mean, when you compare it to India, it is very small. But the advantage of being a small country is that it does not take a lot of days to travel the length and breadth. A week, a 1 week itinerary or up to 10 days itinerary is actually good enough to cover all aspects and see all the varieties and the sides of South Korea. South Korea as a country has been blessed with fantastic weather. So they have all the four climatic conditions clearly distinguishable from each other. And the temperatures are also very nice. So right now, we are in the peak of cherry blossom. It is actually an unfortunate thing that the world is under lockdown, but right now is actually one of the most beautiful times to visit South Korea. As you can see from the slide, from the March to May, the spring season remains and the temperatures are very pleasant, 10 to 15 degrees, bright sunshine, and no rain. The summers are from June to August. However, the summers are also not extremely hot. As you can see, the average temperature remains below 30 degrees. So even if you're traveling in the peak summertime for South Korea, especially if you're traveling from the Indian subcontinent or the Middle East, where the temperatures are exceptionally high, then you would find the peak summer time in South Korea also a very calming and peaceful experience and a pleasant experience. After that, we move to autumn, which is again fantastic weather, just like spring. Bright sunshine, no rain, and clear skies. Temperature is 10 to 15 degrees, and autumn has its own colors. All the trees are green, orange, red, and all their shades. So it's a very beautiful time to visit South Korea also. Lastly, we have winter. As you can see from the slide, South Korea is located pretty high in the in the world map. So temperatures can get extremely cold in the winter. Usually, the temperatures are around zero or sub-zero. So you will expect when you're traveling in South Korea during winters, you have to keep in mind of extreme cold. Snow also, snowfall can also happen in the cities frequently, and in the in the mountainous region or in the uh, you know s- outside regions or the rural areas, there is heavy snowfall. So unless you're specifically looking at winter experience with snow or winter sports or skiing or something like that, Our recommendation is spring, summer, and autumn are very, very pleasant to South Korea, and winter, of course, with its own charm, but only for people who are expecting cold weather. Whenever somebody travels to South Korea, there are few of their cultural aspects which are integral to their society, and you can see them virtually everywhere. First of them is the Korean traditional houses. These are called hanok. As you can see from the photograph, these are traditional houses made of wood. This is the same style in which these houses are being made for centuries, and they had their own indoor floor heating system thousands of years ago, which is pretty fascinating, and you can experience them today also. These houses are, located at many cities, including Seoul capital cities, where you can have a night stay. These are not expensive for staying. The average cost ranges between $40 to $50 per room, which is not a very big price to pay considering the kind of unique accommodation that you would be getting. Second cultural aspect about South Korea is their traditional costume, which is called hanbok. This is a three-piece costume comprised of a shirt, a jacket, and skirt or pant, depending upon female or male. Usually made of silk and cotton or mix, and very colorful, very bright. And South Korean tourism department has a very interesting way to promote the Korean costume for tourism, which is that if you are wearing the Korean traditional costume, then you do not have to pay for monument entrance fees when you visit any palace or national monument. This is a very interesting way to add value to your customer without increasing the cost. The same price that you would pay for a monument entrance fee, you can use to rent a traditional costume. The shops are all located outside all the monuments, and basically your cost remains the same, but your experience increases. Your photos have much more charm, and the whole thing of visiting a palace wearing the Korean traditional costume has its own value. So definitely something to keep in mind and worth giving it a shot. And the last cultural aspect about Korea, which is very predominantly, obviously virtually everywhere, is the Korean traditional food. Korean traditional food is called hansik. This is significant. This has its own flavor. Korean cuisine has its own flavor profile, which is different from other Asian food like South Asian or Chinese or Japanese. Korean food is a mix of three items: rice, vegetable, and either fish or meat. And along with that, they have their national food, which is kimchi, which is fermented spicy cabbage, which is served with almost every meal everywhere you go. So, if you're a fish eater, if you're a vegetarian, if you're a non-vegetarian, then you're in absolute paradise because you have loads of varieties. Of course, if you're a vegetarian, then also you're in a safe zone because Korean food has a different varieties of vegetarian food. Uh, Also, a small, a lot of queries in South Korea we get from the Indian subcontinent, the Middle East region, and for them we have compiled a guidebook which has the list of all the restaurants, more than 100 of them, which are Indian or Middle Eastern friendly, which are basically Indian restaurants or restaurants serving without food without beef and pork, or halal restaurants, which is applicable for Muslim friendly food, and vegetarian and vegan restaurants. This restaurant guidebook is available for download from our website. You can have the link below. It's very useful because it has all the restaurant information, from photographs to size, capacity, menu, average price, and seating capacity, and all sorted in city wise. So planning an itinerary for FIT or groups. So a good thing to keep in mind. This is actually a small study that was done by our head office recently in the Asian countries and subcontinent. They wanted to understand why people visit Korea. So as you can see from the summary, that main reason people are visiting South Korea is for vacation, leisure, and they're traveling with their families or their relatives. And the main thing that they do there when they go to South Korea is shopping. So vacation, family, and shopping, if you combine, it is, you're essentially looking at a family traveler who is ready to travel and explore new places. And I hope by the end of this presentation, you will realize that South Korea has many things to offer for clientele in your countries that you would be interested in. All right, that's on the basics of the destination. Now let's look at the airport situation. As I said, cruises and flights are the only means of arriving at the country. Flights being the most common ones. Even though it's a very small country, it has 15 airports, 8 of them international. However, the good thing is that you don't have to remember all the international airports. There are three key airports which are primarily of very importance to international travelers. Firstly is the Incheon International Airport, which is the main international airport for South Korea, which is located just outside the Seoul capital city. It is the point of majority of international flight connections from the globe. Then you have Gimhae International Airport, which is in Busan city. Busan is the second largest city located in the southern part of the Korean peninsula. It is also a very, very important city from the industry perspective also. So Busan has its own connections to South Asia, Middle East, and India. So, again, a good point of connection. And then you have Jeju International Airport. Jeju Island is a small island located south of the mainland of South Korea. It has its own charm and beauty, which I will explain in the slides coming forth. And the advantage of Jeju is that since it has its own international airport, it can be very easily combined with other places for a quick holiday. Globally, South Korea is very well connected, as you can see from all the Middle East, in India and subcontinent and Asian subcontinent. They have very good connections. There are more than 90 airlines operating to Seoul, with connecting direct connections to 59 countries and 188 cities. So it is a very, very good point if you want to connect to other places of the world, transiting through Seoul or Incheon Airport, which has its own advantages. So if you use South Korea or Incheon International Airport as a transit point by using Korean Air or Asiana Airlines to go to any other part of the world, then you can enjoy free transit tours at the airport. These tours are free of cost. They are fully guided with English speaking, and there are no charges to them, and there is no visa required. There is no transit visa required. All the customer needs is their onward boarding pass and their passport. There are different transit tours from 1 hour to 5 hour duration, be it entertainment, cave, beach, palace, markets, and all of that. Depending upon how much time you have in your layover, you can choose different sightseeing tours. You can book them in advance for your customer by going to the International Airport website, or your customer can just avail them on the spot when they are waiting at the transit lounge at the Incheon International Airport. Internally, South Korea is very, very well connected. It is a highly developed country, and it has got bullet train connectivity connecting the length and breadth of the country. The most common and the most popular and the longest route in South Korea is the connection from Seoul to Busan, which is around 500 kilometers with 5 stops in between. It takes about 2.5 hours, and the average traveling speed is around 300 kilometers. Even when you're traveling at that fast a pace, you can still enjoy free 4G internet to do video calling, FaceTiming, and connecting with your social media. And the average fare for a Seoul to Busan one-way trip is around $50. Now, some of the basic travel information. Most of the countries that we are talking about here, be it India or Bangladesh or Middle East or South Asia, most of them require visa to South Korea to travel to South Korea. However, there is a special provision for a visa-free entry to Jeju Island, which I would like to take a moment and talk about. So Jeju Island is a special, independently governed province of South Korea, and it has its own international airport. And they have a special incentive for tourism. In if anybody wants to travel to Jeju Island for tourism only, then they can enter the island without any visa, free of cost, and stay up to 30 days. But there is a small catch and condition attached to it that you must arrive at the Jeju International Airport directly and do not touch the mainland Korea at any point. There are many ways of doing that. One of the best connections is that they have good flight connections via Hong Kong. They have connections via Bangkok. They have connections via Japan and China. So you can take a via flight from either of these countries and arrive at Jeju Island and enjoy your stay up to 30 days for tourism without having to worry for visa or even having to worry for paying any visa fee. The Korean local currency is Korean won. However, if in case Korean won is not directly interchangeable to your currency locally at your country, it is best to carry US dollars. US dollars can be used for transaction almost everywhere. You can get good rate of exchange depending usually at a marketplace, but you can change it anywhere. You can change currency at a bank or a airport or a hotel or local markets. If you have an internationally valid credit card, debit card, or a traveler card, then also you are in a very safe country because in South Korea, more than 95% of the places, including buses, public transport, taxis and cabs, you can use your plastic money to make transactions. Just a small point, but I feel it is important is that South Korea has the 2.220 volt plug points. So just in case if you do not have the same plug points in your country, then it is advisable that you always carry a travel adapter when you're traveling to South Korea. That finishes with the basics. Now I will talk about the main destination, the attractions in South Korea. For your convenience, we have divided the country's locations into two parts. First is the main destination, which is Seoul, Busan, Jeju, Gyeonggi, and then you have secondary destination like Gangwon-do, etc. The secondary destinations are not compulsory if you are a first time or a second time traveler, because the main destinations will be able to offer you everything that you're looking for to experience in South Korea. However, if you have a very well traveled client who wants to go to the deepest part of the country and have a very different program and do unique things, then you can combine the secondary destination with the main destinations in a very interesting way. I will share their USPs so that you know which place has which place offers which USP. So we start with Seoul, which is the capital city of South Korea. As you can see from the map, it is located in the top northwestern part of the country. It is the hub, it is the largest city, and it is the hub of all the tourism that happens in the country, be it entertainment, shopping, casino, nightlife, theme parks, and all of that. And it has 3 to 5 nights is sometimes not enough if you want to look at every aspect of the city. One of the best ways to see the city is to avail the different tour bus options. There are different courses available. You can do a downtown course with the palaces. You can do the panorama course, looking at all the important sites through photo stops from the bus. You can do a Gangnam course. Gangnam is the most high-end and the most posh district of South Korea. It is you can compare it to the Manhattan of New York. It is the Manhattan of South Korea or Seoul. You can visit that place and have a tour. And one of the very popular tours is the night tour. This is useful because a lot of times customer arrives during the daytime or the afternoon time, and by the time they clear the immigration, reach the hotel, and take a rest and do the check-in, it's already evening and they're a little bit tired. But if you want that they don't end up wasting their first day, you can always give them a night tour, which lasts for around 2 hours. You can do it, you can do the dinner and then the night course, or the night course and then followed by the dinner. Either way, depending upon your convenience. Seoul has a lot of attractions. It can be markets, it can be palaces, it can be skyscraper towers, it can be heritage city walls, and streams and many other places. Few of the important places First of all, the number three in the slide, the Gyeongbokgung Palace, the central palace and the largest of the five palaces there in Seoul City. Then number four, Lotte World Tower is the tallest building in Korea and the fifth tallest building in the world. The top floor, located at 550 meters at height, has a glass bottom observatory from where you can walk on glass and see below, which is very fascinating. You have other places like Seoul City Wall, which offers historical side of South Korea. Then Cheonggyecheon Stream is a very popular place for domestic and international tourists for spending some free time. Hongdae Market, Namdaemun Market, and many other markets offer various kinds of shopping experiences. A very frequently asked question about South Korea and Seoul is, what is the nightlife in South Korea and Seoul? So South Korea and Seoul is regarded as one of the best places to enjoy nightlife. There are different aspects of nightlife in Seoul. First is the nightclubs, the bars, and the pubs, which stay open till 3 a.m., 4 a.m. in the morning, and you can enjoy and party. And it's a very safe country, so you don't have to worry about anything. Then you have night activities like cruise ships or Jimjilbang or Norebang. These are Jimjilbang is a Korean spa or a sauna where you can enjoy hot spring and sauna. 24 it is open 24 hours, and the entry fee is very nominal, around $10 to $15 per person, and you can stay inside unlimited time. So it's a very fun way to spend the night after having a night party. Or one of the most popular ways that people like to enjoy nightlife in South Korea is the Norebang culture, which is essentially a karaoke bar where you can go and you can have a private room to yourself with unlimited supply of food and drinks. There's a karaoke machine, there's a TV, and there is a list of almost all songs in the world where to which you can dance and sing and party and enjoy till the wee hours of early morning. So it's a great way to spend the night. A special experience in Seoul is the K-Style Hub. This is aimed at a first-time traveler. Usually, it is a very like a educative experience, more for if you have students or families or cultural groups which are visiting there. The K-Style Hub is run by the Korea Tourism Organization. It is the experience center located downtown at the heart of the city. It is where you can have different aspects of Korea experience all at one place. You can have VR experiences. You can take photographs with the most popular K-pop celebrities, virtual photographs. You can do a small skin treatment and see the various aspects of your skin. You can wear the traditional costume and take photographs. You can also try Korean traditional food and souvenirs also. The best part is that this whole experience is free of cost. Of course, if you are buying the food or souvenir, you have to pay for that. But otherwise, the whole experience is free of cost. If you have a group, then as a DMC, you can also book a slot so that you can get guided experiences. Again, free of cost. Seoul is a very, very old city with more than 3,000 years of history. So they have a lot of historical sites like palaces, royal tombs, shrines, city wall. So it is a city with modern wonders like skyscrapers and historic 3,000 years old history all at one place, offering you a mix of modern and new, all at one point. There are other hotspots like Enseol Tower, Doksegung Palace, River Bridge, and many other things. One of the USPs of South Korea these days is the K-pop culture, the Hallyu wave. So Korean popular music, Korean popular drama, and Korean movies are getting very, very popular. It is extremely popular in the South Asian countries, and they are catching their foot in the Indian market, the Middle Eastern market, especially with the younger generation. So if you have a customer who would want to have K-pop inclusions, then places like SM Town or K-Star Road are places where they can, get memorabilia, take photographs, and understand about K-pop, and and do a lot of stuff. And also, if they are lucky, they can see a small concert or meet a K-pop celebrity walking around the place. Then we come to shopping, which is one of the most important things in the city. It is a Seoul is a hub of all the shopping that happens in South Korea, and there are different markets. The photograph on the left, which is Dongdaemun Shopping Complex or Dongdaemun Shopping Town, is an area with around 25 shopping malls, outdoor markets, and restaurants and everything. And the best part is that this area is open 24 hours. So no matter what time of the day it is, and this is located in the downtown area, you can always go at the wee hours of the night or early morning or in the daytime. Whenever you go, you can have different shopping experiences like cosmetics, fashion, electronics, everything at one place. You have other market, the Namdamun market. The photograph on the right is a traditional market or a wholesale market where you can get all products at a much more competitive prices. Other shopping experiences like departmental stores, which are equivalent to shopping malls, hyperchain markets, and convenience stores are located all over the city. So you're never far away from a shopping experience in South Korea. Another very popular aspect about Seoul shopping experience is that they have their duty-free shops located inside the city. There are quite a few of them, so you don't have to wait for the end of your tour to do your duty-free shopping. You can do them right when you are in the Seoul city, enjoying at your own pace. So again, this is a very uh, good point to keep in mind, especially for people who like to do a lot of duty-free shopping. That brings us to the end of Seoul, which was the largest of all the cities. And now we have a look at Busan. Busan is a port city located in the south of the in the Korean peninsula. It is the second largest city, and it is very famous for its beaches, its nightlife, its seafood, and also for its industries and industrial tours. A city tour bus is one of the best places to see the city for FIT travelers. If it's a group travel, then you can have separate coach for the entire group. Busan is not a very big city if you compare it to Seoul city. So one full day sightseeing or 2 half-day sightseeing is actually good enough to see the main places, which include Haeundae Beach, which is the main and the most popular beach in South Korea, Dongbik Island, Gongali Bridge, Bomyosa Temple. The photograph on the top right is one of the most ancient Buddhist temples in Asia, in East Asia. Then you have Jagalchi Market, Daejongdae Park, the Gamcheon Cultural Village. The photograph that you see in the bottom is also known as the Santorini of the East. Santorini, as we all know, is an island in Greece, which is famous for its picturesque views. So similarly, in the Gamcheon Cultural Village, you have similar experience. You have a mountain with one side of colorful houses located from the top to the bottom, and the ocean overlooking the ocean and the city. So you can take beautiful photographs of the places and the sites. As I said earlier, Busan is also very famous for its industries. Near to Busan, if you are a FIT traveler or solo traveler, family holiday, anything, minimum we recommend is 5 nights for you to experience Seoul plus Busan or Seoul plus Jeju. But ideally, 7 night itinerary is a very good itinerary where you can include Seoul, Busan, Jeju Island, and along with some of the secondary destinations that I mentioned, like Gangwon or
Mm-hmm.
Gyeongju or something like that. So
Okay.
1 week, 7 nights. More than that, then of course you have you have more options to do more things, but 7 nights is a good itinerary.
Okay. Right. Then what are the mode of intercity transportation? Rather, in fact, um, what are the preferred mode of transportation in case of FIT clients? Mice, of course, there would be a private coach, but for FIT,
Mhm.
whether it's a private car or an SIC seat in coach basis, which would be the preferred one?
So if you're doing tours inside in a city, then SIC tours for FIT is one
Mm-hmm.
of the best ways to have cost effective pricing.
Mm-hmm.
Private tours will be expensive in South Korea. If you are traveling from one city to another, then ideally you should take the bullet train, which is not a very expensive mode of travel. The longest connection from Seoul to Busan is $50. So any connection will be $50 or less from one city to another.
And it's fast and convenient as well.
And it is very fast and it is very convenient. Yes.
All right. Okay. So the next is any specific area of stay for Indian, Filipino, or UAE guests?
Come again with the question, please.
Is there any specific area of stay, or I mean the hotel location for Indian, Filipino, or UAE guest, or it's, I mean, any
Okay,
particular?
so yeah, any particular location, yes. Ideally for Indian, Filipino, and Middle Eastern customers, especially if you are traveling for the first time or second time, then in Seoul, the downtown area near the palace, which is Myeongdong, is good. In Busan, the Haeundae beach area and the neighboring area is perfect. And in Jeju Island, the Jeju city near the airport in the northern part of the island is a good place to stay.
Okay, got it. Great. Okay, and one of the requests that we've got from many of them is visa policy, and uh, along with the Jeju Island visa free policy once again, please. And in fact, how many days does it take for the visa to get
Okay,
processed?
since you have participants from different parts of the globe,
Mm-hmm.
every country will have different visa policy rules. I tried to get some information on in general for the visas.
Mm-hmm.
For Philippines, for Bangladesh, for Pakistan, and some of the other countries which have uh, which have like a labor agreement with South Korea. They have specific visa policy where you have to apply for visa in advance. In even in India, you have to apply for visa in advance. The visa fee for for Korea is $30 for almost all countries. So the $30 is a standard price for visa, even if you apply it from India or any other part of the world. So it's not very expensive. Uh, and I was not able to get a lot of information on the visa for Middle Eastern countries, but I'm sure the visa is required. For Jeju Island, if you combine Jeju with the mainland of Korea, if you are visiting any part of Korea in addition to Jeju Island, then you would require prior visa to your travel. If you only want to go to Jeju Island and don't go to the mainland, then you can, for all countries that you are dealing with, and all countries who have joined us here, these countries have visa-free facility to enter to South Korea through Jeju Island. The only condition is that they have to arrive to the Jeju International Airport directly. So whenever you search for flight connections, you just look for a flight that arrives to Jeju Island via any country. Very common connection for tourists is usually via Hong Kong because Cathay Pacific has excellent connection to all parts of the world, and Cathay Pacific has a good flight connection to Jeju Island also. But via China and via Japan also, there are many flight options.
Okay, got it. And now,
And it is and the it's no and it is visa free, and there is no fee also, so it's free of cost, so you don't have to pay anything while entering the country.
any process fee is also not there, right?
Right.
Okay, so the next is South Korea budget oriented or expensive? How are 3 or 4 star hotels priced? If we
Okay,
can
so
give
if you would look at the list of most expensive cities in the world, then Seoul city would rank in the top five, with Singapore, with Tokyo, with London. So yes, South Korea is a premium destination. It is not to be compared with a regular South Asian destination. Uh, so you have to first of all keep that in mind. It is a premium holiday destination. Average four-star hotel would cost around $100. A five-star hotel will cost around 120 to $130. Breakfast is not usually included in this price, so breakfast is another $20 that you have to keep in mind per person. So that is what the pricing is. Of course, the negotiation would negotiations take place, and you can arrive
Mhm.
at different pricings. But usually for a four-star hotel, you have to keep in mind a price of around 80 to $100, and for a five-star hotel, 120 to $140. You have to keep in mind.
Okay, got it. Now, the next questions are like any mandatory city tax tips policy, anything like that?
So, in South Korea, tipping is not a common culture. If you go to any restaurant, if you go to any shop, or if you go to any shopping area, or if you are using public transport, then
Mm-hmm.
tipping is not expected on. But in the tourism industry, if you're if you're using services of a guide, or if you're using a coach travel for 5 days or 6 days, then a basic tip of $5 to $10 per person per day is recommended. It is not compulsory, but since it's the in within the industry, it is recommended.
Right. Okay, so we've got like another question, preferred cities for MICE groups, which I'm sure you've already mentioned, being Seoul, Busan, or
Yes, if the group is visiting South Korea for the first time for MICE, then ideally Seoul is enough, good enough for 3 to 4 nights. It has many attractions, casinos, nightlife, entertainment, activities that to North Korea, South Korea border. Everything is there for MICE. First time traveler, Seoul is enough. Don't have to think about too much.
and in fact, gala dinner options with the
Calendar
live
options,
programs and
hotels,
entertainment.
yes, yes,
Right.
everything is there.
Okay. And the last, I would like to say, is there any travel partner alignment program from South Korea tourism?
What kind of travel partner enlightenment program? Like
Well,
online
I
training?
believe, yes, any kind of online training or online courses, anything as
So,
such.
yes, so this online training thing is a little bit fragmented, as you know. I belong to the South Korea tourism branch office for South Asia, which is basically for the SAARC countries, which is India, Sri Lanka, Nepal, Bangladesh. So we have online training for these countries, which is run by my office, and
Mm-hmm.
we moderate it. But for Philippines, we have a Korea tourism branch office in Manila, which is responsible for the Philippine market. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
if there is anything for Philippine market, then they would be having it. I would not have the direct information. There is no central, global like online training which is run by our head office in our global
Mm-hmm.
website. It is done on regional level. So I do it for
Right, right.
the SAARC
So we
countries.
can get in
Right.
touch. I mean, they can get in touch with the respective regional or national
Yes.
centers and like way. Okay.
Right.
And
Right.
the last question that I've got, um, hope lunch and dinner option for FIT guests is as flexible as the other countries. As in, probably they meant that if they are going out on tours or if they want to arrange the meals on their own, it will be flexible and convenient for them.
Yeah, South Korea is a very friendly country when it comes to meal, because you will have restaurant, cafe almost everywhere. So wherever you go, you have different food options. Local food is of course very popular and very price effective, but you have pan Asian, you have international food, you have all the
Mhm.
global fast food joints like McDonald's, Burger King, everything is there.
And halal
For
is
India
also
and
widely available, I guess.
yes, halal is very popular in Korea, because for Korea, Malaysia, Indonesia is one of the prime markets for tourism, and these
Yeah.
are Muslim countries. For them, halal is a very important subject. So South Korea has a lot of infrastructure for halal food, and also for the Indian subcontinent, because now the business from India is growing. We are catering to Indian food also. So halal, Indian food, international food, vegetarian food, and vegan food, there is no problem at all.
Right. Okay, so that's the end of the Q&A session, Sandeep. And once again, thank you for the presentation. In fact, we've got around more than 3,000 travel partners on board. So
Yes, it is
precisely,
really amazing. More than 3,000 people attending this. I am very humbled. I deeply appreciate your initiative, and I hope this goes in a long way to promote the destination. I hope you as an organization is encouraged to sell South Korea more. Going
right, right.
forward, we would need support of each other to help each other out in the era which is coming forward.